Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's good to see you again. The story I'm reading to you from the Spark Storybook Bible is called Early Believers, and it's on page 402. Some of the early believers were great at sharing. They shared their food and their clothes. They shared their money and their homes. They were so generous. No one was poor or needy because others gave without holding anything back. Together they saw many miracles and wonders. They met in the temple and they met in their homes. They talked about Jesus and they thanked God for blessing them. Then something amazing happened. When other people saw how happy these first believers were, sharing all they had and talking about Jesus, they believed too. They became Christians and they shared their food and their clothes, their money and their homes. They became one big Christian family, and their church family grew and grew and grew. Well, the story I'd like to read to you tonight is Preacher Creature Strikes on Sunday. Preacher Creature Strikes on Sunday. And it's written by Mike Thaler and illustrated by Jared Lee. Mom is taking me to church this Sunday. I've heard all about church. Mom, do I have to go? You have to stand up, sit down, and kneel 100 times. It's a real workout. It's called being in the service. I'm too young to get drafted. And when you finally do get to sit down, it's on hard wooden benches called pews. Pew, what's that smell? Then you have to stay awake while some guy, or gal for you, called a preacher tries to keep you up, and you have to be quiet. God must like nuts because the only thing you get to say is almonds. Amen. You do get to sing. There are very long songs with 1,000 verses. And just when you think you're done, they go back to the beginning and start all over again. And you have to stand the whole time. It's sort of like the Pledge of Allegiance, only longer. And then, instead of paying you for singing, they collect money. Next, the preacher gives a boring talk called a sermon. At least you get to sit down, but it can last for hours, for days, sometimes even weeks. That's why the preacher is called the sermonator. I heard you might come to church and find people from last week sleeping in the pews. All the sermons are from the Bible. It's a very thick book that God wrote. I wonder if he used a computer. It's full of stories about weird people. One guy wandered in the desert for 40 years. He should have stopped at a gas station and asked for directions. Another guy went on a 40-day cruise with a bunch of animals. It rained every day. Too bad they weren't party animals. A third guy also went on a cruise inside a fish. Mom says God is invisible and you can't see him, but he can see you. She says he knows everything you do, good and bad, but God loves you no matter what, and someday wants you with him in heaven. Mom says heaven is more fun than an amusement park. You get to go be with God full time and go on all the rides for free. Well, here we are. It's Sunday, and we walk into church. Everybody's awake. Well, good morning. Thanks for worshiping with us today. Everyone is friendly and says hello. I get to go off and play games, sing songs, make puppets, and act out Bible stories. And I make lots of new friends. We put on a play about a kid named David who beats up a big bully named Goliath. The preacher says he was able to do that because God helped him. He said God will help us too if we ask. Then we have cookies and milk. I love church. I wish every day was Sunday. Mom says when you love God, every day is Sunday. Well, that's the story. You know, I'm really glad you're part of the family of Christ Lutheran Church. I miss seeing all of you in church, but I hope you have a really restful night. Sleep in peace. God is awake. Good night.